kindness doesn't have to be this big grand thing that you do. Kindness to me is just
Hmm.
noticing the human being that's in front of me. And I'm an empath, so I'm easily affected by other people's emotions. And I can tell if there's something wrong in your eyes and your body language, and that triggers me to do something soft and kind, whether it's a hug or just ask, "Are you okay?"
Hmm.
So just say, just be present and fully pay attention to the person that's sitting in front of you.
Kindness.
Why kindness?
Because it makes a difference.
For connection.
Kindness can change lives.
It's contagious.
The science says you'll be glad you did.
Kindness is the key to a healthier, happier world.
Why kindness? While no one answer is the same, one thing is clear. Kindness is something we all know, but do we know why it matters? I'm your host, Jaclyn Lindsey, co-founder CEO of kindness.org, and you're listening to Why Kindness. Hello, Kindmakers. Today we're interviewing Holly Hatam. Holly's been creating art since she could hold a pencil, once charging her family 25 cents to see her masterpieces. Today, she's a 3-time New York Times bestselling illustrator known for Dear Girl, Dear Boy, and her Magical Creatures series. With over 30 books and more than 1 million copies sold worldwide, her whimsical, heartfelt illustrations have brightened countless bedtime stories. When she's not drawing, Holly is likely hugging trees, sipping tea, sniffing books, or daydreaming about unicorns. For research, of course. Her mission is simple: to sprinkle magic into the world and help others discover their own. You can find her on Instagram at Holly Hatam Illustration and at the.yellow.jacket.girl. Holly, welcome to Why Kindness. We're so thrilled to have you today.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's an honor. I'm really excited to get into your story today. As you might know, we like to open up every show asking our guests why kindness. What would you say to that?
It makes the world go round. It's just kindness is just something that I've always been as a little kid. I've always been the caretaker, the mother of my group. I always loved making handmade gifts for my friends, and it just made me feel good as the giver, and the receiver feels good. So as the giver, you want to keep giving because it feels so great. And the receiver feels good receiving, and they in turn want to give back. So it's just like a full circle. It's what makes the world a lovely place to be, and I wish there was more of it.
I love this question so much. I truly will say there still is never a repeat, and no one has said the simplest thing. It makes the world go round. You're so right. I love that. It's very poignant. Okay, like with siblings, where'd you fit? Did you have siblings? And if so, where are you in the lineup?
I have one brother, and
Okay.
I'm the oldest by 4 years.
Okay. Because when I hear someone self-describe as like a child, they were like the mother hen. I always wonder like where that caretaker side came from. Do you have a sense? Was it just always natural? Were you caring for him? Like, was there something where you realized like this was just a part of your DNA?
I think so. I protected him a lot when we were kids out on the playground. If I ever saw him getting bullied or anything, I was always there. And I feel like it's just who I was naturally since I was a little kid.
Yeah. Yeah. And are you two still close?
We are, yeah. And
Yeah.
especially more so since he's gone on to get married and have his own little girl, and I'm really close with his wife. So it's great. And I always say my sister-in-law sprinkled her magic on our family and brought all of us together.
I love that. That's amazing. Okay, so you have been doing art, drawing your whole life, it sounds like. Do you have a memory when you first held a pencil or knew that this was something you adored?
My mom's told me I was drawing since I was little. Like, I remember constantly coloring at 4
Mhm.
years old. And as I grew older, I I read a lot of books, and I was amazed at authors and illustrators, but I didn't realize that that was actually a
Hmm.
career. And as I got older, age 12, 13, I was obsessed with Disney. I would watch the same Disney movies, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, over and over every Saturday and just annoy my family. but I would sit and dream of one day working for Disney. So I've had that dream of being an artist since I can remember.
Wow. Okay. And has it always been drawing, illustration? Like, were there other pieces of creativity or art that you saw as well and experienced, or was it just that one zone?
I loved music. I was in the band from grade 5 to my end of high school career. I love crafting of any kind. I love museums, anything that's creative, I will gravitate towards it. So it's not just drawing.
Okay. Okay. And so then when did you get into like books, illustrating books? And did you ever work with Disney?
I did work with Disney during COVID. They reached out to me asking for some character designs and background designs for a show. So that was amazing. Full circle
Wow.
moment for me.
Wow.
And for picture books, I always go by how old my son is. He's 12. So I've been doing it for 11 years now.
Okay. And what has been your hardest part of the process?
It would be writing the kids' books. Majority of my books, I've only done the illustrations, but there's 4 or 6 of them that I've written myself, and they're board books, so those were easier, but for picture books, I have so many unpublished
Mm,
manuscripts that keep getting no's, or my agent keeps telling me they're not strong enough yet,
mm.
so writing would be what is the hardest for me. The drawing part comes so naturally.
And how do you I'm curious, I realize I don't really know anyone who's an illustrator. Like, talk us through concept to it actually being on paper and being something that's put into a book. How are you developing and creating the characters? Where are you getting the ideas? What's that process like?
In the beginning, so my agent will reach out and send me a manuscript and ask me if I'm interested. So I read through the manuscript first. And if it doesn't resonate, if I'm not getting images in my head right away, I know that I have to pass, because if I'm not inspired from the get go, I feel the drawings will not be magic.
Mm,
But if I say yes and it's something that resonates, it starts with a character design. And I usually do 4 to 8 different sketches. I'll send them along to the publishers, and they're the ones that have the final say. They'll choose which
mhm,
one's their favorite. And from there, I develop the character further. And once it's a green light for the character, then I begin sketching the interiors. And sketching can take 3 months to 6 months, sometimes longer. It just depends on how much back and forth there is between me and the creative director. And once the sketches are greenlit, then I go to the finals, which can then take another 6 months or longer. And then I will give them to the publishers, and from there, it takes at least another year for the printing process. So by the time I get the book in my hands, it feels like Christmas Day, because it's been so long since I've worked on the book. So
yeah.
it's a very, I feel most people don't realize how time consuming or
Mm,
how long it takes for a book to come out. And that's children's publishing. I'm not sure how it is on the adult side.
yeah. What I've loved about learning more about your work is this idea and theme around magic. For me, at least as a reader, there's something about books being a portal into a place where things can feel new and possible and impossible, but yet there's something so special about that experience and journey into what isn't real and yet could be real, or we need it to be real. I'm wondering why that's drawn you in. Like, what is it about the idea of magic or unicorns or any of these things that have been themes in your work?
I am obsessed with anything magical. I read fantasy books. I'm obsessed with Harry Potter, any TV show with any element of magic. It fills my heart with so much joy and makes me believe that there's something bigger than us. And it's just something so comforting to me. And escapism, of course. Like, who wouldn't
Yeah.
want to travel to a magical world?
Yeah. With your books, have you been able to hear from parents or kids on the impact that they've had going into your stories and the journeys they've had with them?
I've heard a lot of parents that their little toddlers love the magical creatures, especially the unicorns page. And I have parents reaching out and ask, my child has this question, what do unicorns love to eat? And just it's just cute little questions where they actually truly believe that I know who unicorns and dragons are. So it's great.
I love that. Yeah, I feel also, the idea for me with books, especially starting at such a young age, it's giving kids an opportunity and an appetite to like imagine what's possible, And I'm wondering, did you have any experience with that yourself as a child? What role did books play in shaping your understanding of the world, or shaping your understanding of reality or what's possible, dreams, anything like that?
My nose was always in a book. I carried a
Mhm.
book with me everywhere I went. I'm still like that as a adult, and my son is that way too. And it just books would make me feel understood. My favorite book is Judy Blume. Is it Together Forever? I should know the title since it's my favorite. But it was a book about 12-year-olds turning 13, the whole puberty stage. So it made me feel really understood. And I
Mhm.
see that for my son as well. He relates to all the characters in his books for the certain phase that he's in. So it's like a comforting little friend that you can return to over and over when you just need a little pep talk.
Yeah. How have you seen books be an outlet for people in, like, the difficult climate we find ourselves in? When we think about making the world go round. I guess I'm wondering, do you have any, examples of seeing maybe not even your books, but just the power books have to heal or to connect or to help people overcome things?
It's recently I just self-published my first self-published book. It's called ABC for Emotions. And
Mhm.
that started off just as a simple little Instagram post last year. And it's just this little yellow jacket girl wearing a yellow jacket and a scarf, and she's just traveling through nature and scenes. And I paired it with different emotions for every letter of the alphabet. And when I first published the A on Instagram, I was just amazed at how it was resonating with people. And they were messaging me, telling me it's helped them through such a dark time in their life. And this little yellow jacket girl has become sort of like a beacon in their life. So, and people kept asking for it as a book. Is this a book? Is this a book? So I turned it into a book, and it just recently went live a couple of weeks ago on my birthday.
Oh my
And
goodness.
the
Congratulations.
thank you, the outpouring of messages I'm getting about this book, how it's like saved, it's crazy to believe, saved them from darkness or saved them from doing something bad to themselves, and how teachers are sharing it in their classrooms and parents are sharing it with their kids for emotional learning. It's so heartwarming.
Wow. What was the A? What emotion?
There was 9. I did 9 for each letter.
Okay.
One of them was like acceptance, accepting of this
Mhm.
moment you're in, accepting yourself. Just, and it comes from almost everything that I put out there starts from my own feelings or it's a journal entry. So
Mhm.
people always reach out to me and say, "How do you know what I'm thinking? It's like you're in my brain." And I'm like, "Well, because I'm going through the same thing. So if I'm going through it, then you're most likely, or someone's going through it." So it makes you feel a little less alone, which is great.
Yeah. What I guess, are you comfortable sharing what you might be going through personally when it comes to putting that out? Or, what would yeah, as you think authors or any of us, when we're trying to tell stories, it's about our own experience. Are you comfortable sharing?
I've always been open. Even on my Instagram, I'm always saying how I've been struggling with anxiety since my
Mm.
20s. So there's nothing that I'm usually not willing to share. I just want to take the stigma away from, I'm not always glitter and rainbows. I have my bad days too. So if I can share that, and I feel I have the power as an artist to share that on paper, and I deal with all of my feelings with writing and art. So if that can help someone at all, I feel like it should be my mission to do that.
Thank you. I think it is important, and I think the stigma we're in what feels like an era where things are being destigmatized and people are becoming more vocal and more open, which is allowing other people to feel safe to talk about these things. But there can be where for me like a overcorrection, and so I want to ensure people know it's like no, we need this has to stay the norm. This has to be something where we're able to just talk about mental health the way we do physical health. And I'm so grateful to know that you're out there being an advocate in that way. And thank you for sharing. I wasn't familiar with that, so I didn't know that piece of your story, but I'm glad to know that you're open to sharing it. And hopefully, people listening, they know it's okay. With kindness, we're all on a journey. And the way I think about kindness is we all have a story, and we don't know what someone's gone through. We don't know why they might show up unkind or be cruel. And so, what does it look like for us to create that safety for all of us to know we're broken, we're flawed, but we're human, and that's what it means to be human. So, thank you
It's
for
lovely.
that.
Thank you. That's lovely.
I am wondering, why did you self-publish versus going through your agent or, it sounds like was it just such like a passion project? I mean, that sounds so cool to me. Or I guess like, stepping away and going against it feels risky and bold, but like, yeah, what prompted that?
I just wanted, honestly, full creative control because people were already resonating with all of the drawings and writings as is. And of course, the publishers, they're going to want to have a say, of course. But I just thought, well, it's already resonating with so many people and they love it the way that it is. Let me just try to self publish this. And I already have such a beautiful, wonderful community that I just felt like I needed to go this route.
What do you do for yourself when you're struggling? What are your outlets? You mentioned creative writing and all of that. For someone who might not feel like they have that creative outlet or it's not natural, are there other things you have, or do you just encourage everyone to just go draw? Like, how do you think about how it could translate to others?
Well, I'm a big supporter of art therapy, and people think that they need to know how to draw to do art therapy, but you don't. And in my email newsletter, every bi-weekly, I always have a therapeutic art activity that's simple enough and not too scary looking for
Yeah.
people to do. But if that's not something you're interested in, for me, the thing that has helped me the most is mindfulness and acceptance and meditation, which I do every morning. And if I miss a day, I notice that I'm not the same as when I do practice mindfulness. And the biggest thing for me is that if I'm feeling anxious, I don't say I am anxious. I say I am feeling anxious and that is okay. And I just keep repeating that until I calm down a little.
Mhm.
And then I always envision my emotion, whatever I'm feeling, scared, anxious, sad. I envision it as if it's a little monster sitting in front of me. And I will usually ask, what do you need from me in this moment? And
Mhm.
I just sit and listen and they answer. And usually it's, I need a hug or I need some love. And I just picture myself hugging that it might probably sounds a little crazy, but it
No.
always helps and it just softens the feeling. And it's just telling myself it's okay to feel this way. There's nothing wrong with being
Mhm.
sad or scared or anxious. That's just part of being human. And if I just sit and accept it, that feeling usually goes away. I never fight the feeling.
Mm.
Usually anxiety lives in my chest and it makes it really heavy. And I notice if I try to make it go away by distracting myself or something else, it gets bigger and bigger and heavier and heavier. But if I just sit and just focus on the feeling in my chest, it'll dissolve on its own.
So much incredible wisdom in there. This season of Why Kindness is made possible by the Wasserman Glasser family in loving memory of Sandra K. Wasserman. Sandra believed that kindness could change the world, and she had a remarkable way of making everyone feel seen, valued, and loved. Her signature phrase was simple, yet powerful: "Thank you for your kindness." Her belief in kindness as a force for change is the very heartbeat of this podcast. In her honor, we invite listeners to do the same. Think of someone who has shown you kindness and let them know. A simple thank you can ripple farther than we ever could imagine. From the Wasserman Glasser family, thank you for your kindness. We are honored to carry Sandra's light forward into this season. Holly, so many wise things you just said in there. I want to say thank you for teaching us and, giving insight into those perspectives and ways that we can talk to ourselves. When I hear it from me, I think about so much of my why with kindness goes back to childhood things. And even as an adult, all these years later, I'll find myself speaking a narrative like in the mirror as if it's this truth, oh, you are this thing. And it's often words other people have put on me. Like my own feelings about myself have been what others have said. And I think what I'm hearing that is so important to remember is like, one, how we define ourselves. So you're not anxious, you're feeling anxious. I think just even that distinction, there's so much power in making sure what you're saying is true, because I think we can blanket over ourselves with these ideas that define us forevermore, like, oh, you're this anxious person, for example. I also think about hugging the little girl. I go back to what I went through and all the ways that I experienced unkindness. And even in therapy, we've had to do exercises where we do go back to like meet that child self. And I think if we all just were that little child version, if we could remember that innocent side of who we are before we have life teach us otherwise and we start to be shaped in a different way, just what would that look like, if we go back to that? And I just really appreciate you sharing those insights. I think there's a lot of beautiful wisdom in there.
Oh, I'm glad. Anything to help.
Yeah. And I didn't actually ask where you're based. Where are you calling in from right now?
Ontario, Canada.
Oh, Canada. Okay. With your son now, 12, right? That's the age you're saying that you even felt yourself being affected by Judy Blume, the wonderful Judy Blume. How is it being a mom and watching him and what he's going through? And in today's day, like, I'd be curious what that's like for you.
He is a lot like me. He's a very sensitive little boy. He always has been, and he's dealt with anxiety for the majority of his life.
Mm,
I feel like we know how to relate to each other really well, and it's great because I finally have learned the tools as a 46-year-old on how to help my anxiety and my shyness and sensitivity that I can pass on to him at a young enough age. So hopefully he doesn't grow up to be an adult that deals with anxiety on a day-to-day basis. And of course, everyone's going to have anxiety here and there, but hoping that he will have the tools early enough to
mm.
be able to manage it as he gets older.
Yeah, we have a program that works currently in classrooms. We are starting to expand with more resources for families and that like at home side of kindness at home. But we have a program that's in classrooms starting kindergarten to 8th grade, teaching kindness. But under the umbrella is mental health and mindfulness and compassion and connecting with peers and relationship building. So it's all of these really essential tools. In my mind, I feel like why isn't this just a core requirement of how kids are being taught? Like we focus on the hard skills of math and science and history. And I know kindness is seen as a soft skill, but I think it's both. I think it's hard to be kind. I think it's hard to know how to overcome negative narratives. And I think it's critical that we're embedding these things in how children are being raised. And then you introduce social media and the role of technology, it just gets quite complicated. But if they can start at the youngest of ages, learning the tools, that to me is the game changer. I feel like that would change the world.
I
The
agree. I agree. Or at least if the parents can do it at home. Like I've
Yeah.
always, since my son since he's been going to school, and when he comes home, I always ask, "What was one good thing about your day? What was one bad thing about your day?" And we've always done he has, like, a gratitude journal where he
Mm.
has to write 3 things a day that he's grateful for. We've been teaching him mindfulness just because he has always been an anxious little kid, so it's great, the kindness things to do at home.
Yeah.
And self-love. I caught him once, he's probably gonna kill me, hopefully he will never listen to this. But I caught him once standing in the bathroom mirror just staring at himself. He's like, "You look so handsome today. You're awesome." I'm like, "If only we all did that
Yes.
every morning."
That's amazing.
He is my mentor, I look up to him, he's just such a confident, bright, shiny little human being that teaches me every day.
That's incredible. I love that so much. I have to do Post-it notes. I'm still, like, a little funny about talking out loud, but every so often I'll put a Post-it note. When it first happened, it was like, "You're beautiful," and my husband was like, "Thank you so much," and then I was like, "Oh, it's for me." It was like so or now it's like a funny joke, the Post-it,
Oh.
but yeah, just little reminders that, the self-love, I do think that it's all starts there as well, so yeah, I love that. Just wondering if there's anything else you would wanna share or speak about when you think about kindness in our world?
In general, if there's just a story about my son, about
Mhm.
kindness from September that I can talk about.
I would love that. Yeah.
So, um, my son, we had to switch his schools this year, which was a really hard decision because he's been at his old school since grade 2, and now he's in grade 7. So going into September, he was really anxious. All summer, he was really sad about missing his friends, and the first week of September was so hard. He didn't know anybody, and he's usually the most outgoing person
Um,
you'll ever meet. He doesn't have trouble speaking to anyone. He makes friends everywhere he goes, but he was just anxious at this new school. And every recess, he would go sit by himself all alone under this tree with his book. And he would come home crying and so sad. And by the third day, he had a breakdown that just broke me and dad, where he was just bawling, saying he wants his old life back. He wants to go back to his old school. He doesn't know anybody. And we just gave him a pep talk, tried to calm him down. And then he came home that day with a huge smile on his face, where 3 grade 8 girls saw him sitting alone under this tree. They don't know him. They walk up to him, ask him how he's doing, get to know him, sit with him the whole recess, and tell him that he doesn't have to be alone anymore, that they are now his friends. And if he ever feels scared or alone, I cry every time I tell this story. If he ever feels alone again, to come find them, that they are now his forever friends. And he came home that day so happy and so excited to go to school the next day because of those 3 girls. And I just wish I could meet them and just thank them and thank their parents for just raising such kind human beings. And I hope they know how much of an impact they had, not on just my son, but on me and dad. And just, ugh, it's just, it's the most touching story.
it's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Whew. And I'm so glad that he has them and also glad that they exist because I think of the 8th grade girls in my orbit many moons ago. That didn't feel like I saw that, or knew that was out there. And that's a really beautiful thing.
Those parents did something right. Like, I
Yeah.
want to talk to those parents.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and who knows where life will go and what relationship and friendship they'll have ongoing. So maybe one day you will, and we'll get to send this episode to them where we thank them,
Oh,
thank those 3 girls. Well, thank you for sharing that, Holly. That was so beautiful and so
of course.
inspiring. Okay.
Oh,
So, one thing we do when we think about kindness is how are we showing up? Just, I think this is such a great transition. It's like, how are we choosing kindness? And the way I think about this work is that it's taking the feeling into action. It's like you feel anxious, you do the act to help combat it, right? You go do your mindful moment, or you take that pause or that breath, or do gratitude. And that's what I'm so interested in, is like the action, our ability to show up and choose kindness. And so for a long time, as an organization, we've been thinking about, how do we measure it? How do we know what we're willing to do? And do we do it? And do we say yes to these acts of kindness? And so one thing we've created out of that was our KQ. So I'm wondering, did you have a chance to do the KQ before today?
I
Yes.
did,
Okay.
yeah.
And which version? We have two versions right now. We have a neighbor version and a coworker version.
I ended up doing the neighbor, not
Neighbor.
realizing there was
Oh,
2.
that's
Uh,
fine.
yeah,
That's okay.
no, sorry, no, there was the coworker.
Coworker, okay. And this is interesting because I feel like as an artist and illustrator, what does coworker mean to you? So let's even start there. Like when you were taking it, what does coworker look like? Is it your publishing house?
I thought of the publishing houses, the creative directors, the editors I work with, and I was thinking about before I became an illustrator. I am a trained graphic designer. That's what I studied in college.
Okay.
So prior to what I do now, I worked at design agencies. So I was thinking back to when I was actually in an office setting.
Okay. Okay. All right. And so, yeah, walk us through a little bit. Well, one, if you're comfortable sharing your score, but then even the experience of taking it, what was it like for you? Yeah.
My score was 107, I think.
Wow. So kind, Holly. Not surprising. Although once you get over 100, we start to talk about self-kindness, because sometimes it's a tension of like, if you're
Don't worry
constantly
about self-kindness. I need to work on the self-kindness.
that's what I mean. If you're so kind, it's like, what happened to Holly? We have to fill Holly's cup. So okay, wow, 107. And so yeah, what was it like? Any thoughts, feedback? Did it illuminate anything for you?
I don't know. It's just the questions were like, well, I've done this. I've done this. Like a lot of them is things that
Yeah.
I naturally do, even
Yeah.
on a day-to-day basis with my family, friends, strangers.
Yeah. Yeah. And was there anything that made you think like, wow, this is hard. I'm not sure if I would do it, or anything that caused like tension or pause?
Shoot, there was one, and now I forget what it was. I can't remember if it was the bailing them out of
Oh,
jail.
yeah.
Because my question was, well, what did they do?
Right.
Was it something really awful? Did they deserve to be bailed
Yeah.
out?
Yeah. Yeah, that one gets people. Yeah, no, that's fair. I think that's very fair. There's a fine line of what you'll do to get someone out. Amazing. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's been really fun to put something out in the world. It acts as a hook, but it's really designed to hopefully get people to just examine the way they're showing up in the world, and their willingness to help and their willingness to do things for others. So I think we want to be good, but we don't always choose it, or like we want to help, but we have a lot of factors that stop us from helping: time, energy, effort, busyness, things like that. So appreciate you doing it. Thank you. We
Well,
just released the coworker version. So it's hot off the press.
I'd be curious to see what other people's score was.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is why there's different versions, because we're kinder to family and friends, which probably seems obvious. And then
Mhm.
we have neighbor, stranger, coworker as other recipients, basically. And it's showing the dimensions of kindness. We're going to treat
Mhm.
a stranger differently than a neighbor, differently than a family member. And the neighbors, the scores we felt like a lot of people are scoring much lower for neighbors and than coworkers.
Oh, really?
Coworker scores have been seemingly higher. Don't hold me to this from like the research side. My research team will have to like verify exactly what's happening on the back end. But yeah, it's been interesting. A lot of people with neighbors are like, I don't really know my neighbors. I don't talk to this made me
That's
realize how little I don't know who I'm around. And with coworkers, there's been
Mhm.
like a deeper sense of, I guess, closeness or connection that people feel.
That's true.
So yeah, probably a lot of things we'll need to dig into as a team to understand all of that, but 107 is very high. A lot of people have been, I think, more like 80s, 90s. So
I'm gonna have to go back and take the neighbor one.
do it. Yeah, let me know. Let me know how it goes. Okay, and so we also love to just do like a flash round of questions. So I'll just kind of like throw a question out and you respond. How would you define kindness in one word?
Empathy.
Empathy. If you could get everyone around the world to do one kind act, what would it be?
Just look the human being in the eye and say hello.
Mm. A quick aside, Holly, we did research on homelessness and what kindness means to people that are homeless. We did it with a group in New York City. And it was so interesting because the number one thing was looking them in the eye when you walk by. So and there was a lot of self-reporting of the money is fine. Like, of course, and many of them, all of them have different circumstances and needs. And the money, it was like almost indifferent to just treating them like a human and giving them dignity and looking them in the eye. So it was really interesting to realize that actually what they're just looking for is that connection. Like you see them, you're not stepping over them and ignoring that they're a person. So I love that act. Thank you. What is kindness in a song?
Like an actual song.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like when you think of kindness, what song do you think of?
Okay. Well, I would have to say the song lyric that's tattooed on my arm that says "The stars are on your side" by Ross Kupperman. It's a beautiful song, and
Wow. Okay.
I found it during COVID, and it was helping me through so much because my mom was going through cancer during that time, and just with everything going on, I just needed a bright light, and I just stumbled upon this song. And
Okay.
it just resonated with me so much that I needed to tattoo it on my arm just so during any hard time, it's there and I know it reminds me everything will be okay.
Wow. Okay, so say the lyric again and then who's it by?
It's called "The Stars Are on Your Side" by
Okay.
Ross Silverman.
Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna go look that up. And that has not been said before, which I also love this question because everyone has
I'm
different
curious to
songs.
know other people's songs because I'm going to want to go listen to them.
We started a playlist, so I'll share the playlist. We put everyone's answers in
That's
the
awesome.
playlist. So I'll send that to you. Had I think over the years the only one repeat was the song Happy. I think two people have said Happy by Pharrell Williams. But no, it's a wide range of songs. And this is the other thing. It's like music and kindness, like the global thing, music speaks to the soul, and there's like just it's so wonderful to see how we connect it to kindness in that way.
That's cool.
Yeah. What book are you reading or listening to on audio if you're an audiobook reader?
Right now, I'm a Christmas what can I say, addict, a Christmas addict. So
Sure.
I'm
Yeah.
reading the book, Dash and Lily.
Oh,
It's
okay.
also a Netflix show, but there's 3 books in the series. It's really
Okay.
cute and quirky.
Okay. All right. Like what genre is it? Like fiction or is it yeah. Okay. I haven't heard of it, but I love a good
Fiction,
holiday read.
rom-com-y. It's
Okay.
really cute and light and happy.
Good. I love that. I'm coming out of such a hard year myself, Holly, and I have been so deep in rom-com fiction. Like I
Good. It's for the soul.
there's like I am just like it's like crazy. I've never done something like this. Like every night I'm just like reading these rom-coms. They just give me it's like a little outlet. They make me feel
If
so
you have Netflix, go and watch the show.
I
They
know.
have one season of it. It was so cute.
Okay, Dash and Lily. Okay. And what would you want everyone to know if you wanted to leave everyone with wisdom or something to remember? What would you want them to remember?
That kindness doesn't have to be this big grand thing that you do. Kindness to me is just
Hmm.
noticing the human being that's in front of me. And I'm an empath, so I'm easily affected by other people's emotions. And I can tell if there's something wrong in your eyes and your body language, and that triggers me to do something soft and kind, whether it's a hug or just ask, "Are you okay?"
Mhm.
So just say, just be present and fully pay attention to the person that's sitting in front of you.
Love that. Thank you. And we end every show on action. So the episode and season is made possible by the Wasserman Glasser family in honor of Sandra K. Wasserman. Sandy lived a life that did just what you said, saw every human, was really good at acknowledging and saying thank you for your kindness, to the service workers and the baristas, and just the reminder that all of us are there. And so we like to ask our guests to think of who they'd want to thank for their kindness in their lives if you could thank someone. So we can call someone, you could text them, you could let us know who it is, whatever your comfort level is. But we'd love to just end with action of thanking someone for their kindness in your life.
Probably my sister-in-law, just because she's my person that I go to anytime I'm feeling anxious or scared or just need someone to talk me down off the edge. We always say we both deal with anxiety and things like that. So we always joke around that we're so good at talking one another down, but don't take our own advice. So we it's just funny, so I'd have to thank her.
Okay. What's her name?
Katie.
Thank you, Katie. I love that. Thank you for your kindness, Katie. All right. Well, Holly, so honored to have had you as a guest today. Thank you for sharing your story and being so open. And just grateful for your work and your contribution to the world, bringing smiles to so many lives. And this was so delightful. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for this podcast.
Thank you. Why Kindness is made possible by the Wasserman Glasser family in loving memory of Kindmaker Sandra K. Wasserman. More information on our guest and topics from this episode are available in the show notes. We hope you enjoyed this conversation and would love to hear what you think. Please leave a review wherever you listen and join us on social media and at kindness.org to learn more about how you can be a kindmaker. We will continue exploring this question, why kindness, throughout the season. So stay tuned, friend. And thank you for your kindness.